In the dark and strange world of Wednesday Addams, normalcy is a curse, and vengeance is an art form. The story doesn't start like most others, slow and gradual, but with a violent splash. After discovering her younger brother, Pugsley, bound and stuffed into a locker at Nancy Reagan High School, Wednesday is struck by one of her sudden, painful psychic visions. She sees the culprits, a group of jocks, and her response is swift, disproportionate, and deeply satisfying. Well, at least it is to her. Unleashing a swarm of piranhas into the school pool during their swim practice, she attempts to kill them for their cruelty. This act, predictably, earns her an immediate expulsion, one of many in her uniquely challenged academic career. Seeing this as the last straw, her parents, Morticia and Gomez Addams, decide on a new course of action. They enroll her at their own alma mater, Nevermore Academy, a gothic boarding school nestled near the rural town of Jericho, Vermont. Nevermore is no ordinary institution, though. It is a sanctuary, a place designed to educate the misfits, the outcasts, and the children of supernatural talent. Before she even arrives, a shadow hangs over the area. A hiker is discovered in the nearby woods, his corpse brutally mangled by a mysterious beast, adding to a string of terrifying deaths that the local sheriff, Galpin, already suspects are linked to the school. As Wednesday's parents depart, leaving her in this strange new world, they also leave behind a secret supervisor. Unbeknownst to her at first, they release Thing, a sentient, disembodied hand, to keep a watchful eye on their daughter. Wednesday quickly discovers the loyal appendage in her dorm room, and after threatening to lock it in a drawer, she strikes a deal, gaining not just a helping hand, but a devoted follower in her coming trials. Her introduction to Nevermore itself is a collision of personalities. She meets the school's headmistress, the imposing Principal Larissa Weems, and the seemingly gentle botany teacher and dorm mom, Miss Thornhill. Her new roommate is Enid Sinclair, a bubbly, pastel-obsessed werewolf who has yet to experience her first transformation. Enid gives Wednesday a tour of the campus and a rundown of Nevermore's distinct social groups. The Fangs, who are vampires, the Furs, her fellow werewolves, the Scales, who are sirens, and the Stoners, who are gorgons. It is a world full of supernatural adolescent drama, but that is the least of Wednesday's concerns, as her psychic visions continue to plague her with increasing intensity. Her defiant nature immediately puts her at odds with the school's social elite. She clashes with Bianca Barkley, a popular siren and the school's queen bee, first in an impromptu and aggressive fencing duel. Shortly after, her life is put in immediate danger when a stone gargoyle is pushed from a rooftop, nearly crushing her. She is saved only by the timely intervention of Xavier Thorpe, a brooding artist and Bianca's ex-boyfriend who seems to have some form of history with Wednesday. Ever rebellious, Wednesday ditches her court-mandated therapy session with Dr. Kinbot in Jericho and ventures into the town. In a local coffee shop, the Weather Vane, she meets Tyler Galpin, a charming barista who happens to be the son of the suspicious Sheriff Galpin. An unlikely connection forms, though it is immediately complicated when his father appears, warning Tyler to stay away from her and revealing a long-held belief that Wednesday's father, Gomez, is a murderer. The fragile peace in Jericho is shattered during the local harvest festival. Tyler, hoping to help Wednesday, gives her a copy of her father's old criminal record, but the evening takes a dark turn. While fleeing from a group of local bullies, Wednesday bumps into a classmate named Rowan, and is struck by a terrifyingly clear vision of his imminent and grisly death. Compelled by the vision, she follows him deep into the woods. There, a stressed and unstable Rowan confronts her, claiming she is destined to destroy Nevermore. As proof, he brandishes a tattered page torn from a book, an ancient prophecy that depicts a girl who looks exactly like her standing before a burning school. Before he can act on his fear and kill her, a massive, grotesque monster suddenly emerges from the darkness. The beast brutally mauls Rowan, slaughtering him in front of Wednesday, before it spares her and scurries back into the night. Wednesday, now in possession of the prophetic drawing, reports the murder to the skeptical Sheriff Galpin, but her story is met with disbelief. Her credibility and sanity are thrown into further question the very next day when Rowan suddenly reappears at Nevermore, seemingly alive and completely unharmed. The entire student body believes Wednesday is lying, fabricating a horrific story for attention, and she begins to doubt her own mind. Only Tyler seems to believe her, offering a small measure of comfort. The situation becomes even more convoluted when Principal Weems confronts Wednesday about her psychic visions, revealing that she was aware that Wednesday's mother, Morticia, also developed them at her age. Weems then informs Wednesday that Rowan has been expelled for unknown reasons and is leaving campus. Wednesday tries to confront him as he prepares to leave, but he and Miss Thornhill quickly brush her aside. Feeling that something is deeply wrong, Wednesday sends out Thing to secretly follow Rowan to the Burlington train station. Thing trails him into a bathroom where the shocking truth is revealed. The person who looks like Rowan is not Rowan at all. He begins to change his appearance, his form shifting and remolding itself until he transforms into none other than Principal Weems. Weems is a shapeshifter, and she has been impersonating Rowan to cover up the fact that he was, in fact, murdered by the monster in the woods, all in a desperate attempt to protect Nevermore's reputation from the scandal and panic that would surely ensue. Unaware of Weems's deception but certain of a cover-up, Wednesday is met with a new resolve for the truth. Later, while exploring the woods with Tyler, she finds Rowan's broken glasses. Touching them triggers another vision, this time of the book that Rowan was so obsessed with, the one from which the prophetic page was torn. She sees that the book is tied to a secret student society called the Nightshades. Now armed with a name, Wednesday's investigation gains more focus. After discovering a watermark on the prophetic page, she learns from Miss Thornhill that the Nightshades were a student society at Nevermore that was supposedly disbanded years ago. Before she can dig deeper, she postpones her search for a taste of sweet revenge. She joins forces with Enid to compete in the Poe Cup, a no-rules canoe race dedicated to the school's most famous and spooky alumnus, Edgar Allan Poe. Together, they manage to snatch victory from Bianca's team, humiliating her rival in the process. During the race, Wednesday experiences another cryptic vision, this time of a blonde ancestor who tells her that she is the key. Later that day, her sharp eyes spot the Nightshade's sigil, the same symbol from the watermark, on the base of a statue of Edgar Allan Poe. Under the cover of darkness, she investigates the statue and uncovers a hidden passage. It leads her underground, into the secret library of the Nightshades. The shelves are filled with ancient tomes and occult knowledge. It is here that she finally locates the very book from her visions. But before she can examine it, she is ambushed and captured by a group of masked figures. Wednesday awakens to find herself bound to a chair, surrounded by the members of this elite secret society. She quickly realizes that her captors are some of her fellow classmates, including Bianca Barkley and Xavier Thorpe. The Nightshades, it turns out, are very much still active. After a brief interrogation, Xavier, intrigued by her tenacity, suggests that Wednesday should join their ranks. Surprisingly, she declines the offer, more interested in solving the mystery on her own terms than in joining their strange, secretive club. Using her wits, she escapes their grips, but not before snatching a copy of one of their ancient books to aid her investigation. The next morning, the school participates in Outreach Day, an annual event where Nevermore students volunteer in Jericho to foster better relations with the suspicious townspeople. The day includes the unveiling of a new statue in the town square dedicated to Jericho's founder. Wednesday uses the opportunity to dig into the book she took from the Nightshades. With some helpful information from Xavier, she learns that the man depicted in an illustration within the book is Joseph Crackstone, the fanatical Puritan founder of Jericho. This new lead sends her to volunteer at Pilgrim World, a local theme park dedicated to the town's original colonial settlement. There, she finds several artifacts related to Crackstone's family, including a painting of an old Pilgrim meeting house. In the painting, she recognizes the young girl from her visions, the same ancestor who called her the Key. She also discovers what appears to be a mysterious tome called the Book of Shadows, but learns it is merely a replica. The real one was stolen a month prior. Following directions from Tyler, Wednesday travels deep into the woods and finds the ruins of the very meeting house from the painting. As she explores the derelict structure, she is suddenly overwhelmed by another, far more intense vision. She is transported back in time, where she witnesses a horrific event. She sees Joseph Crackstone and the other original colonists rounding up a group of outcasts, including her own ancestor, Goody Addams. Crackstone, a religious zealot, accuses them of witchcraft and sentences them to death. He traps them inside the meeting house and sets it ablaze, executing them by mass burning. As her friends and loved ones succumb to the flames, Goody Addams manages to escape the inferno. Awakening from the vision, shaken but resolute, Wednesday encounters the monster once again. It flees before she can get a clear look, but it leaves behind large footprints in the mud. Examining the tracks, she makes a chilling discovery. The creature is not just a beast, it is human, or at the very least, it can transform into one. Her mind racing, Wednesday decides to end Outreach Day with a vengeful statement. With things help, she rigs an explosive and spectacularly burns the newly unveiled statue of Joseph Crackstone, a defiant act that enrages Principal Weems and the townspeople. Later that night, the monster strikes again, killing a squatter who was living at the old meeting house ruins. In his final moments, the victim manages to snap a few photos of the creature, leaving behind disturbing evidence that Sheriff Galpin later develops. As Nevermore buzzes with excitement for the upcoming Raven Dance, Wednesday continues her grim investigation. She and Thing break into the town's coroner's office to search for clues. Reviewing the autopsy files, she uncovers a gruesome pattern. Every one of the monster's victims has had body parts surgically removed. Her suspicion now falls heavily on Xavier. She follows him to a secluded shed in the woods, which she discovers is his private art studio. Inside, her blood runs cold. The walls are covered with his drawings, all depicting the deadly monster in disturbing detail. Convinced he is connected to the murders, Wednesday recruits her fellow beekeeping club member, Eugene, into her investigation. Together, they use Xavier's drawings to locate the monster's lair, a cave hidden deep in the woods. Inside, they discover a broken claw shed by the beast. Wednesday takes the claw to Sheriff Galpin and persuades him to run a DNA comparison against a bloody rag she took from Xavier's studio. But the results ultimately come back as inconclusive. Begrudgingly, Wednesday attends the Raven Dance with Tyler as her date. While she is there, Eugene stakes out the monster's lair alone, where he witnesses a mysterious figure in red boots rig an explosive and detonate the cave. The dance itself descends into chaos. As romantic drama unfolds, The local bullies from Jericho hijack the fire sprinkler system and douse the entire student body in red paint, a bloody-looking revenge for the destruction of the Crackstone statue. In the ensuing panic, Wednesday is struck by a vision of Eugene in grave danger. She rushes to his aid, but by the time she finds him in the forest, it's too late. The monster has already attacked, leaving Eugene brutally mauled and comatose. The dark cloud over Nevermore grows heavier with the arrival of Parents' Weekend. Wednesday's family, Morticia, Gomez, and her brother Pugsley, come to visit, providing her with the perfect opportunity to investigate the old rumors surrounding her father. During a tense family therapy session, she confronts Gomez with the criminal file Tyler gave her, which shows he was accused of murdering a wealthy Jericho socialite named Garrett Gates over 30 years ago. Morticia is furious at the accusation and abruptly ends the session, but Wednesday vows to uncover the truth. Soon after, new, albeit circumstantial, evidence comes to light. The town coroner, who had recently admitted to falsifying Garrett's original autopsy report, is found to have allegedly killed himself. Sheriff Galpin arrests Gomez for the murder. With Gomez behind bars, Morticia finally confesses the truth to Wednesday. She was the one who killed Garrett Gates, but it was in self-defense. Gates had become obsessed with Morticia and was stalking her. On the night of the Raven Dance 3 decades prior, he broke into the school and attacked Gomez, but Morticia intervened, fatally wounding him. Gomez took the blame to protect her. However, something about the story doesn't feel right to Wednesday. Driven by her instincts, she and Morticia sneak out in the middle of the night and exhume Garrett's corpse from its crypt. Their grim work pays off. They discovered that he was poisoned and likely dead before he was ever stabbed. This means neither of her parents was fully responsible for his death. Armed with this new evidence, Wednesday and Morticia confront the current mayor of Jericho, Noble Walker, who was the town's sheriff at the time of the crime. Cornered, he confesses to a decades-long conspiracy. Garrett Gates, driven by his wealthy and hateful father's bigotry against outcasts, had come to the dance that night with a vial of poison, intending to murder the entire student body of Nevermore. In the struggle, the vial must have broken in his pocket, poisoning himself. Walker admits he covered up the truth in exchange for the powerful Gates family, ensuring he would become mayor, a lie he has lived with ever since. The Addams family agrees to keep a secret, on the condition that he ensures all charges against Gomez are dropped and he is set free. With her family relationships mostly mended, Wednesday sees them off as Parents' Weekend concludes. But the mysteries at Nevermore are far from solved. Looking through an old yearbook, she realizes Principal Weems was a student alongside her parents and makes the connection that Weems is a shapeshifter, accusing her of the Rowan cover-up. Weems admits to it, claiming she only did it to protect the school, just before a message written in flames appears on the school lawn: "Fire will rain." Despite the ominous warning, Wednesday's friends decide to throw her a surprise birthday party, choosing the old Crackstone crypt as the grimly appropriate location. Though she is less than enthusiastic, her interest is piqued when she finds a tomb marker that matches the fiery message from the lawn. Touching it triggers a vision where her ancestor, Goody Addams, appears once more. Goody shows her the old, abandoned Gates family mansion and tells her it holds the key to stopping the Crackstone legacy for good. Wednesday's investigation leads her to follow Mayor Walker, whom she witnesses leaving the Gates mansion. She secretly hides in his car to get a ride back to town, only to watch in shock as he is deliberately run down by another car right in front of her. The incident leaves Mayor Walker in critical condition and prompts Principal Weems to place the entire school on lockdown, forbidding anyone from leaving campus. Never one to follow orders, Wednesday tricks Enid and Tyler into accompanying her to the Gates mansion that very night. Inside, they find a trove of horrifying evidence in the cellar: the car that hit Mayor Walker, a jewelry box belonging to Laurel Gates, Garrett's sister, who supposedly drowned years ago, and even the missing surgically removed body parts from the monster's victims. Their search is cut short when the monster itself attacks, scratching Tyler before the group manages to flee. When Wednesday leads Sheriff Galpin back to the mansion, the cellar has been scrubbed clean. All the evidence has vanished, causing the sheriff to doubt her story even more. Back at Nevermore, an exasperated Enid finally has enough of Wednesday's manipulative and dangerous behavior and moves out of their dorm room for a few days. Alone, Wednesday inspects the jewelry box they recovered and finds a hidden compartment containing secret photos of herself, suggesting someone has been watching her investigation from the very beginning. The night ends on another deadly note as a mysterious figure infiltrates the hospital and murders Mayor Walker in his bed. As Jericho mourns its mayor, Wednesday's eccentric Uncle Fester makes a surprise visit. He immediately identifies the monster from her descriptions as a rare creature known as a Hyde, a being born of mutation that is often awakened and controlled by a master to carry out evil deeds. For more information, he directs her to the diary of Nevermore's founder, Nathaniel Faulkner, which she finds hidden in the Nightshade's secret library. The diary confirms Fester's theory, explaining that a Hyde is chemically induced and becomes bound in service to the one who unlocks its monstrous nature through trauma or manipulation. Her investigation is briefly interrupted by a date with Tyler at the Crackstone crypt, but she returns to her dorm to find it has been ransacked. Faulkner's diary has been stolen, and Thing lies on her desk, severely wounded after being stabbed. Luckily, Uncle Fester can use his electrical abilities to resuscitate Thing, but the brutal attack only fuels Wednesday's drive to unmask the culprit. Later, her search for clues reveals that the late Mayor Walker was looking into Laurel Gates before he was killed. His research suggested that Laurel may have faked her own death and returned to Jericho to enact a long-planned revenge on Nevermore. Wednesday now suspects her therapist, Dr. Kinbot, is Laurel in disguise. She confronts the psychiatrist, who denies everything. Immediately after Wednesday leaves her office, the Hyde attacks and kills Dr. Kinbot. Convinced now that Xavier is the Hyde, Wednesday confronts him in his art studio and has Sheriff Galpin arrest him. Feeling vindicated and with Enid having forgiven her and moved back into their dorm, Wednesday allows herself a moment of happiness. She visits Tyler at the coffee shop and finally, they kiss. But as their lips touch, she is struck by a powerful, undeniable vision of the Hyde-killing Dr. Kinbot, and she sees the monster's true face. It is Tyler. Reeling from the revelation, Wednesday takes matters into her own hands. With the help of Bianca and other Nightshade members, she kidnaps Tyler and takes him to the woods for interrogation. Her methods, however, horrify her friends and turn them against her. When Principal Weems and Sheriff Galpin arrive, they are appalled and Wednesday is arrested and expelled from Nevermore. At the police station, a smug Tyler is brought in. He leans close to Wednesday and whispers a confession, admitting to the killings and threatening her with the chaos that is still to come. Before leaving for good, Wednesday makes one last stop at the hospital to visit Eugene, who has finally woken from his coma. His memory of the attack is hazy, but he clearly remembers one crucial detail about the person who blew up the monster's cave. They were wearing distinctive red boots. In an instant, everything clicks into place for Wednesday. The red boots belong to Miss Thornhill. Using her shape-shifting abilities, Principal Weems transforms into Tyler to escort Wednesday to a final confrontation with the botany teacher. When confronted, Miss Thornhill drops her gentle facade and confesses everything. Her true identity is Laurel Gates. She returned to Jericho in secret to avenge her family's legacy and her brother Garrett's death by destroying Nevermore and all outcasts. Also, of everyone watching, only 1% is subscribed. So you guys better get it to at least 5%, or Wednesday and Thing will make you. Just kidding. Not kidding. Thank you. She was the one who unlocked Tyler's Hyde nature and has been controlling him, having him murder people and collect their body parts for a dark ritual. Before Wednesday can react, Laurel fatally poisons Principal Weems with Nightshade and kidnaps Wednesday, dragging her to the Crackstone Crypt. In the crypt, Laurel explains her master plan: to use the stolen Book of Shadows, the collected body parts, and the blood of a Goody Addams descendant to resurrect Joseph Crackstone himself. She completes the ritual, using Wednesday's blood to unlock Crackstone's sarcophagus. The vengeful, centuries-old spirit of the Puritan zealot rises from his grave, stabs Wednesday, and leaves her to bleed out on the crypt floor. Miraculously, Wednesday is saved. The spirit of her ancestor, Goody Addams, appears and uses the lucky necklace her mother gave her to heal the fatal wound. As Wednesday escapes the crypt, she runs into Tyler in the woods, who gruesomely transforms into the Hyde and attacks her. But she is saved by the timely arrival of Enid, who, in a moment of crisis, finally achieves her first powerful werewolf transformation. As Enid furiously battles the Hyde, Joseph Crackstone arrives at Nevermore and, using his dark magic, sets the school ablaze. Fulfilling the ancient prophecy, Wednesday duels Crackstone in the school's courtyard. The battle is fierce, and Crackstone nearly gains the upper hand. But just as he is about to strike a final blow, Bianca appears and distracts him, giving Wednesday the opening she needs. She stabs him directly in his black heart, obliterating his soul and saving Nevermore for good. Laurel Gates then appears, threatening to shoot Wednesday, but Eugene swoops in with his loyal swarm of bees, stinging her into submission. With the battle won, the dust settles. Classes are canceled for the rest of the semester, and Nevermore closes its doors to recover from the devastating attack. Tyler is captured and taken into custody, while Xavier is subsequently cleared of all charges. Before leaving, Wednesday apologizes to Xavier, who gives her a cell phone as a parting gift, and she says farewell to her new friends. Her work seems to be done for now, but as she is driven away from Jericho, her new phone buzzes. She receives a series of mysterious texts from an unknown number showing photos of her and a final message: "I'm watching you. The suspense is far from over." A stalker has emerged, and Wednesday's war against the darkness lurking in the shadows has only just begun. So that's the entire story of Wednesday Season 1, giving you everything you need to know before watching Season 2. If you enjoyed the recap or found it helpful, drop the video a like and let us know in the comments. And if you want to see more Wednesday content, be sure to subscribe.